The sun was setting down over the dry earth of Burkina Faso, setting the sky ablaze with orange and gold. A trail of black government cars rumbled down a dusty road near a quiet farming village outside Ouagadougou. Villagers gathered at the roadside. Some waved, some watched in silence. In the center car sat Captain Ibrahim Traoré, president of Burkina Faso. He had just left a long meeting about food and farming and was heading back to the capital. But then he saw her. A woman sat alone by the road. She cradled a baby in one arm. With the other, she wiped away tears. Two barefoot children stood behind her, still as shadows, their eyes hollow with hunger. The president leaned forward. "Stop the car," he said quietly. His guards exchanged surprised glances. The convoy slowed to a halt, kicking up red dust. Ibrahim opened the door and stepped out, wearing his military uniform. The crowd grew still. The woman looked up, stunned. She wiped her face and tried to sit straighter. "My sister," Ibrahim said softly, walking toward her. "What is your name?" She rose slowly, trembling. "Hawa, Mr. President. My husband. He was a soldier. He died last year in the north, fighting the terrorists." Ibrahim's face changed. His eyes moved from her to the children. "And now you live like this?" he asked. She nodded, her voice barely a whisper. "They said the government would help me, but I got nothing. The children are hungry every day. I tried to farm, but the land is dry. No water, no seeds. I sold my last goat to buy food." Ibrahim clenched his fists. "Did you go to the local office?" "Many times," she said. "They always said, 'It's coming,' but nothing came." He turned to his aide. "Find out who runs the support program here, tonight." Then he knelt before the children. "Your father was a hero, and heroes' children should never go to bed hungry." Tears rolled down Hawa's cheeks. Her voice broke. "No one ever came. No one ever cared." Ibrahim stood up, calm but firm. "That ends today." That night, as stars lit the sky, whispers spread through the village. The president stopped. The president saw. The president cared. But in his office in the city, Ibrahim could not sleep. The image of Hawa and her children haunted him. Before dawn, he called an emergency meeting. "I want a list of every widow and every child of our fallen soldiers. I want names, villages, payments, and I want to know why this woman received nothing." The room went silent. Some ministers looked uneasy. By afternoon, a thick file landed on his desk. According to the records, Hawa had received 2 full payments, enough to feed her family for a year. Ibrahim stared at the papers. "She never saw a single coin," he said coldly, then louder. "So who took the money?" The investigation was swift. A local official had faked Hawa's signature. He had stolen the funds meant for her and many others. Dozens of widows, dozens of orphans, all lied to, all forgotten. Ibrahim was furious. The next day he appeared on national TV, not in a suit, but in his uniform, the same one he wore on the battlefield. He looked straight into the camera. "Yesterday I met a widow," he said. "Her husband died for this country. But the help we promised her was stolen. Her pain broke my heart, and it broke my trust." His voice grew stronger. "Let it be known, the days of stealing from the poor are over. The official who stole from her is in prison, and this is just the beginning." That same week, several corrupt officials were fired. Some were arrested, others resigned. At his next cabinet meeting, Ibrahim looked his ministers in the eye. "From today, you are each responsible. You must know who gets what and how. If one coin goes missing, the chain of command breaks, and the head will roll. Then he added quietly but clearly, "We cannot build a new Burkina Faso with dirty hands." Later that day, President Ibrahim returned to the village, just like he promised. He brought bags of food, school supplies, and a small water tank for Hawa's farm. But more than that, he brought justice. Hawa smiled, truly smiled, for the first time in a long while. "My husband would be proud," she said. "His sacrifice was not forgotten." That year, the rains came late. The earth cracked and dry. But after Ibrahim's visit, something else began to grow, not just in the soil, but in hearts across the country. Within days, engineers arrived to dig a deep well. Water returned, trucks brought seeds, tools, and hope. The new program was called Hope for the Fallen, and Hawa was the first to plant. One morning, barefoot in wet soil, she knelt with her children. Her hands were tired, her body still weak from hunger, but her heart was full. He came back in silence. No sirens, no speeches, no convoy trailing behind him like a shadow of power. That afternoon, President Ibrahim Traoré walked into the village alone, dressed in plain clothes, unnoticed by many. No guards, no cameras, just a man returning to where his promise began. He found Hawa in the field, a basket of seeds by her side, and sunlight dancing on the green shoots pushing up through the once dead earth. "I see green," he said, a rare smile tugging at the edge of his mouth. "I see hope," she replied, without missing a beat. They walked side by side, their hands gripping the weight of seed baskets, but their hearts lighter than before. Around them, the children laughed as they chased each other through rows of fresh crops. No longer silent, no longer hungry, no longer afraid. For the first time in too long, they were just children again. But this visit was not just about farming. Ibrahim had quietly sent a team of teachers months earlier. Now, in the corner of the village, stood a modest structure. One classroom, one blackboard, and one big dream. "I want my son to become a soldier like his father," Hawa said softly, "but not to die, to protect, to live." Ibrahim nodded, gazing at the hills beyond. "And I want your daughter to become a doctor, a minister, a leader," he said. "This country must rise, not from wealth or words, but from the graves of its heroes." Word of Hawa's story had already traveled across the land. It had spread not through headlines, but through whispers, through letters, through broken hearts finding the courage to speak. Widows from faraway villages began writing directly to the president. Farmers stepped forward with tales of empty promises, stolen aid, and forgotten visits by men in expensive suits who never looked them in the eye. But something felt different now. In the capital, the silence of bureaucracy began to crack. And then Ibrahim moved again, not with emotion, but with law. He passed a new policy: no more middlemen, no more forged signatures or lost funds. A clean, direct system was born. Every cent intended for the families of fallen soldiers would reach them, pure, unfiltered, untouched. And who better to protect those funds? He gave the job to women who had lost their own husbands, mothers who knew the silence of grief, wives who knew what it meant to go to bed without answers. A new department, a new mission, a new beginning. Then he addressed the nation once more. "We cannot fix everything overnight," he said, "but when we see a mother suffer because of our silence, we are given a choice. Do we turn away, or do we turn the page?" In villages like Hawa's, green began to return where there had once only been dust. Crops rose, so did spirits. What had started as one woman's cry became a quiet revolution, planted by pain, but watered by truth. Ibrahim kept coming back, not with promises, but with presence. One afternoon, he sat outside Hawa's small home, watching her children chase chickens through the yard. Their laughter filled the air, light, unburdened. They looked stronger now, fuller, brighter. Hawa brought him a cup of tea. "You remembered us," she said gently. He nodded. "I made a vow, not just to you, but to every family like yours." She studied him closely. "Is it heavy, carrying the whole country?" He gave a tired smile. "Some nights I can't sleep. I see the faces of fallen soldiers. I read letters from mothers. I ask myself, am I doing enough?" She reached for his hand. "You are," she whispered, "because you came, and that's more than most ever did." That evening, back in his office, Ibrahim stood before his cabinet again. But this time, he didn't bring a report or a chart. He brought Hawa's photo, a woman, a mother, a widow, a citizen. This woman, he said, holding the image high, was failed by the system, but she helped us fix it. He walked the room, slowly, purposefully. Every minister here must know what is happening in their department. No more lies, no more blindfolds, no more pretending we don't see. If something goes wrong, you are responsible. Then he raised his voice. Our people are not numbers. They are names. They are faces. They are souls. And when we forget that, we lose the right to lead them. And so, a new law was born, the Family's First Act. Under it, every widow and every orphan of a fallen soldier was given a direct voice to the government. No more silence, no more waiting, real support, real respect. When the law was signed, Hawa was invited to speak. She stood behind the podium, nervous but brave. The crowd leaned in. "My husband died in silence," she said, voice clear. "But today, I speak in his place. I thank the president, not just for helping me, but for listening. That's all we ever wanted." The room rose in applause, not just for Hawa, but for the journey, for the truth, for the man who once stopped a convoy for a crying woman on the side of the road, and never forgot her. And so, across Burkina Faso, her story lived on. In every classroom built, every well dug, every child fed. It wasn't just about justice. It was about dignity. And the quiet power of a leader who proved that sometimes one small act of kindness can rewrite the future.